So, hello guys. It is absolutely scorching out here in Central Florida at the moment. We are bone dry. It's about 90 degrees right now. But look at this beautiful plant right here. This, of course, as you know, is the elderberry, which is native throughout the entire U.S., throughout the entire North American continent, and even some species down into Mexico, I believe. But look at these. This is quite an amazing plant. Not only because they are very easy to grow, but they are absolutely jam-packed with antimicrobial, antiviral, anti-cancer properties, chock full of phytonutrients and plant phenols, and the purple berries are loaded with anthocyanins. This is truly an absolutely amazing plant. Quite a gift if you want to grow your own food and be healthy. You really can't beat it. And it's so easy to grow. This happens to be our local native Florida variety, which Florida has its own subspecies. It's Sambucus nigra, of course. And then you've got, I think, Sambuca canadensis, maybe is what it is for the rest of the country. But they're basically the same. The berries are used the same. You've even got the European elderberries. All the berries have the same properties to them, just depending on where you are on what varieties you want to grow. But the Niagara here is absolutely an astounding plant. It can take wet. They can grow in wet areas. They can grow in dry areas. They can take shade. They can take full sun. They can be mowed to the ground, cut absolutely down to the ground, flower, come back right away, send up a cane and flower within a couple months. They're a small shrubby tree if you let them grow, and nothing bothers them. They're super productive, guys. Extremely productive. And yeah, delicious to boot on top of everything else. And you can see here, even though we are so dry and so hot, they are in full flower here. Look at that massive cluster. This plant is just growing this year. This 1-year-old cane. They kind of grow like blackberries. They grow canes. And then if you leave those, they'll of course grow into a small shrubby tree bush that'll just keep flowering. But if you look like right here, this is just brand new growth. Completely new growth on this whole stock here. And it's just flowering everywhere. Those flowers aren't open yet. And there's a nice cluster. And then you can see here that cluster again. Just a huge cluster. This will be probably at least a pound of berries once all of those are ripening up. And they just, oh, they smell amazing, guys. Absolutely heavenly scents. Is that focusing on there? For I was sniffing it while the camera's up there, sorry. But look at those. They're wind pollinated, so you don't have to worry about any pollinators. You just have to have unrelated plants, which is normally pretty easy, especially here in Florida, because all of the variety is hybridized. Even if you want to grow the European ones here in Florida, or if you've got a more northern type here in Florida, they all cross, they'll all pollinate each other. So they're super easy to grow, super easy to pollinate. And you can see each of those is the little tiny berries starting to form. Those are all pollinated. Look at every single one of them. The little berries there. And now it's important to note the entire plant is extremely toxic. You don't want to eat the leaves. You don't want to eat anything on there. But you can eat the flower clusters when they're starting to open up like this one. You let the flowers open up and you can clip it. See right there where it's attached. You can cut off each of those little branches of flower clusters and you can fry them up. You dip them in a sweet like pancake batter, and you make little light crispy fritters out of them, and they're super delicious. A little powdered sugar on them. Oh, super good. Or you can take the flowers, put them in a little bit of water with some sugar, and stick it in a soda bottle, a reusable soda bottle, or a good bottle that is airtight. And you can make a fizzy kind of elderflower soda wine out of it if you want it to get alcoholic, but you don't have to. Just a natural yeast on the flowers and the sugar, and leave it in a warm, dark spot for about 4, 5, 6 days a week, and it'll get nice and fizzy and sweet, and it's just absolutely amazing, refreshing drink. A little fizzy, little flowery, just amazing. Or you, of course, let the berries ripen up. You don't want to eat green berries, but you let the berries get nice and dark purple, and then you can make pies out of them. You can make juice out of them. You can make syrups out of them. You can dry them and grind them into a powder. So much you can do with them, guys. And those berries are, of course, what is extremely medicinal and good for you. They actually cause flu viruses to kind of implode and just fall apart. So just overall a plant you want to be growing. You can grow them in pots anywhere, but there's really no reason to, because they do absolutely amazing in the ground. And like I said, you can cut them back to the ground every season, and they'll sprout right back up and flower the same season multiple times. They flower year round here in Florida. Up north, you know, you've got harsher winters, so they're only going to flower in the spring and summer, and probably ripen up that fruit in the fall. But here in Florida, we've got fruit year round. They flower pretty much year round, with the heaviest time being in the late spring right now. But they're always flowering. And if you're cutting them back, they'll flower even more, so they can be even more productive. That's truly an amazing plant, guys. And yeah, what more can you ask for? So adaptable. They can take the cold, they can take the heat. I don't know what else to say for it. You should definitely be growing elderberries no matter where you are, because they grow everywhere, guys, and they're so amazing. And I was going to end it here, so you can leave if you want. But these are actually little native ones that I've found. You know, I drive everywhere, I go everywhere, I notice plants. And these are ones I've noticed. Some are, you know, it's natural variation in the plants. Some just produce larger heads, larger berries. And over the years, I've found plants throughout the South here. And I always, you know, if it's something special, I'll grab a little branch of it. These grow really easily from cuttings. You can just take a cutting, stick it in some water, it'll root, and then put it in some soil, and then in the ground. And this particular one, I actually call Tallahassee. I was up in, staying in Tallahassee years ago. We were doing a road trip and going through Mississippi and Louisiana and everything. On the way back, we stayed at a little inn, and this was growing, of course, just in the edge of a parking lot where we parked, and it had absolutely massive clusters of very good sized berries, because normally the berries are very minute, very small, and small. I don't know, what would you say? They're smaller than a pea, much smaller than a pea, maybe the size of a quarter of a pea. What else? You know, not as small as a grain of rice, a little larger, but rounded, of course. But these are a little larger, and I noticed, just as you can see even on this, massive clusters. This will be over a pound of berries once this ripens up, just on that one cluster. It'll ripen up, and then this whole branch will be hanging down. It'll be so heavy and loaded with berries. And anyway, yeah, this is one that I found up there. So I brought her back and I grow her. And she's unrelated to all the plants in my area, so there's no problem getting good pollination and just massive clusters of those amazing berries off of her. But just keep an eye out. You know, you can find these growing everywhere. They're so common especially here in Florida now. Every ditch, every little spot on the side of a parking lot, there's elderberries growing and flowering. And if you find a good looking one, definitely get some cuttings and grow them yourself, guys. Do not pass them up. You got to be growing food, and if it's medicinal and going to help you live a better, healthier life, heck yeah, right? All right, see you guys later. Love you. Grow that food. Grow some of these amazing elderberries. Look at that. Beautiful. And this thing's just going to keep flowering. Look at every branch. It's got a cluster on it. I'll get a video of these when they're ripening up for you. And those will be in about a month or so. But this is just one little branch here, one little tree. I grow them. I stick them all over the place. And there's more than enough for the birds and everything to go around. These are a bit later, and there's so many flowering right now, the birds don't really mess with them, so works out. See you later. Look at that. And they just smell amazing, guys. Just a sweet, amazing smell.